So today on Project Shop, I am back on these compressors. I'm going to get these things drained, and I'm going to get this thing ready to rock and roll. Now, I got the little Best Arc plasma cutter. I'm not sure how well it's going to do because this is a lot of compressors, and it's going to be like all day's worth of work. So I'm going to start off with these. I'm going to do them for a couple hours, see how it goes. And I do have these big giant stators outside that I need to process as well. So that thing's going to put in some work today. It's Sunday and I want to get this stuff done today, so I'm going to work this thing for a few hours. Hopefully we don't burn it up, but if I'm thinking we're gonna have some issues, I'm gonna have no choice. I'm just gonna run over to Harbor Freight and just buy they got a $1,000 plasma cutter, a 65 amper. I'm just gonna buy one with a warranty, and I probably should just go buy it now, but I don't want to spend $1,000 on a Harbor Freight one. I'd rather buy something else, but if we need to, that's what we'll do. But we're gonna put this to work today and see how it goes. All right, we are actually making some decent progress. Let me shut these fans off real quick. And this fan, I actually should have kept probably a couple more of those. I think I kept 4. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mount 2 more in this door. I think what I'm gonna do is take that cage that I have right there and figure a way of putting it on here and mounting those fans right to the cage so it's right on there, and then I'll have 2 setups really sucking the fumes out. I mean, I'm standing right here and I can barely smell anything, hardly anything at all. Like, it is literally just pulling it away. If I put 2 more fans, it's gonna really just suck the fumes right out of the building. So we got that dialed in. Let me talk about these red ones that I'm doing now. They are thick, man. They are almost twice as thick as the black ones, and I'm having a hard time dialing the air motor down slow enough. I literally, on that last one, I dialed it so slow it was almost stopping, and I was actually pushing it with my hand just to make it flow easier. Definitely have to upgrade to an electric variable speed motor. That is a top priority. And I was going to, if I could get it dialed in, it wouldn't be too bad, but it's burning up a lot of the air, and I'm running 2 tanks on 1 compressor because my 220 is just on 1 line. And I had to crank the plasma cutter up to 50 amps. So I'm going to run a bunch of the black ones for the next hour. We'll turn this back down to 40. The black ones go pretty good. But let me get back to these red ones, and I'll tell you what I really like about them. 1, they have huge nuggets of copper in them. That's always a plus. And 2, pretty much this whole setup here is cast aluminum. So there's tons of cast in there that we're going to get a decent price for that I wasn't expecting. So in my opinion, they are well worth it. That piece right there, I've been throwing them in here. I'll sell that as iron aluminum if I could figure a way of getting this off here. I mean, it's kind of pressed on there somehow. Maybe in the future I can have I have to set up the cracker for the press. I can crack stuff. I can put that in the press and just crack that aluminum and get the higher dollar for it. But I'm super stoked, man. This is going pretty well. I'm kind of getting in a little rhythm here. These big boys are heavy. Everything in this thing is heavy. So far, everything's been copper. I'm really excited about it. Looks like we're gonna do pretty good. Oh, there's a whole pallet in the bottom of this. Huh. Okay. What I've been having to do is put my chain on them and bring the forklift over and just pull it out. So a system to pick it up out of the bins. What I'm going to do is I'm going to need a steel table where they'll slide. Okay. And with the oil draining, it'll be nice and lubed up. And I'm going to have a system where it can slide across the table. I can just come in, set the bins down at the end of the table, and then I need a gantry like this. I might use, I mean, I don't want to take that one, but now that I have a forklift, I really don't need the self-load-in, but it's nice to have. But what I can do temporarily is take this. I'm going to have to go buy a 110 winch, and then we're going to have to set a trolley system across where I can pick them up, put them on the machine, pick them up, move them off the machine, because I want two guys to be able to do this. One guy just operating the plasma cutter, one guy prepping, jumping back and forth of prepping, and actually taking these apart, because you have to unscrew a little bit of stuff, but it's, in my opinion, it's worth it, you know. And then a second guy can be splitting the stators and just, you know, we're gonna get it dialed in, man. We're gonna have a flow. We're working on the flow right now. The table, I gotta get a plate, man. I gotta get a plate, and I gotta get this thing moved over there, and a better pump. And then we'll be dialed, man. We'll be ready for pretty much production. A couple upgrades I have to do, thicker steel on certain things, like this holder. Like all this stuff should be made out of like way thicker metal. So I did just get some big I-beams in. Might make a whole new press and just use this as a whatever, a secondary, primary, secondary, whatever. But let me get one of these on here, show you what's going on. I've been collecting a little bit of copper. I mean, it all adds up. But the little Best Arc plasma cutter, the 50 ampere, I think I'm gonna go before it gets too late. Like I said, it's Sunday and Harbor Freight closes at 6. I think I'm gonna go in about an hour and just buy a backup to get me through the weekend. I'll try it out, see how it works. I'm gonna buy a 1-year warranty with it, so I'll be able to return it if I have to. I don't wanna just be relying on one plasma cutter. I gotta plasma cut all these. I gotta plasma cut the motors. I gotta plasma cut the stators. I just don't think this thing is gonna be up to the task. I'm already burning through tips. I'm gonna go get some spare tips for this one. I have a couple left, but I don't wanna run out because I'm gonna be working late tonight. We got a lot of copper to recover. We got to start pulling copper. It's been too long. Okay, noisy fans are coming back online. Definitely going to need a big table. I got to be able to drain a bunch of these at once. Right now I can only do one big one or two small ones at a time. With the limited ability of this plasma cutter, is not too bad because it lets everything cool down. It lets that breaker cool down. I really like these the adjustable things right here. Glad I went with this one instead of the other one. I really had no choice, but I got to get a better flow with the tool. one doesn't have a steam going up. Well, that's interesting. Little plasma cutter. I don't know if my ground ain't good enough, but it seems to be having just a little bit of problem starting. I don't like the fact that I don't have reverse either. So, that was interesting. I'm definitely going to have to work on the this guide down here. Oh, there's the steam right there. So standing right here, I can't smell nothing right now. There's the steam. there's the cop. Replace that tip. I think I damaged it yesterday. Whole thing was nasty. And I gotta get some earplugs, man. Everything about this is loud. That one had some issues. Okay, well, you get the gist. I'm gonna, before I burn this little plasma cutter up, I think I'm just gonna go get a bigger one. Harbor Freight sells a 65 amp with a warranty. So I'll go get that before I hurt this one. And then at least I can run the crap out of that one. If I break it, one, I could just take it back on the warranty issue. Two, I'll have a backup still. You know, I'd rather not just burn this up and then get one. I'd rather get one. If I'm gonna have a plasma cutter that's gonna be something I'm gonna use every day, you gotta have a backup. All right, I'm back at it. And we went and got another plasma cutter just in case. Now I don't feel nervous about just going full bore with these things. This is a 65 amp setup, and it says clean cut up to 1 inch thick metal. So all the struggling we had with the these thick red ones, we should have no problems. I bought some extra consumables. Okay, so these are actually for that plasma cutter. And it's funny, that's a 50 amp one. These are only 20 amp cutters. Maybe that's why they're not lasting.
Yeah.
And then I bought.
Ready?
Yeah. I bought the consumables for this one, the electrodes and the tips. It's a totally different setup than these, but hopefully this comes with some, and we have a bunch of spares, and we can just cut for days now.
There you have it.
And this also is dual voltage, 110 or 240, just like the other one. 80 to 110 psi. Huh. Now this box was a little crinkled.
Oh, yeah.
It's the only one they had, and I actually went to 2 Harbor Freights to get this bigger machine. So, and I told the manager right away, if there's a problem with it, I'm bringing it back because of the damage on the box. But I think we'll be good. Huh. This one at least came with the thing. That's actually nice. See, my other one, brand new out the box, it didn't come with that outer thing right there. So that's looking nice. Now, the only thing I'm wondering is, am I going to be able to tap into the plug? What else we got? It did come with 3 tips and electrodes, so that's good. Now we got a nice little stockpile. Oh, this one comes with a wrench. It's already doing a little better than the best arc. Put that over there. Now I did buy a 1-year warranty with this. Has a much bigger plug on it. Pretty sure that's the same end I'm using. I hope so. We'll have to make a trip to Home Depot if not. Okay. So it comes with 220 to 110 adapter. Here's our ground cable. Very nice. Looks pretty straightforward. Put all this in here. I'm gonna have to get a little a drawer for the plasma cutter stuff. Let's see how this looks. So my concern is, how am I going to make this a hands-free operation? Look at all those pins. Okay, I might have to open the machine up and play with the guts a little bit. But for tonight, maybe I'll probably just pull the trigger. Now, Pretty sure the other one had a function where it would just stay on when I wanted it. Definitely a lot heavier than the other one. All right. Okay. It's like some little bits that could get lost. We got to be careful. So this doesn't look like the one where I'm assuming they don't want you actually touching the tip to the stuff. So being that I'll cut 1-inch thick, man, I think we're good. Now, I don't know what this other plug is for. It has like a whole nother thing here. I'm not sure what that is. I'm gonna spend a couple minutes and just review the thing before I actually put this thing to work. And then hopefully when I built the stand, as you can see, I built it way bigger than that. Hopefully it actually fits on there. It'll just kind of be plug and play. We'll just swap it out and get to work, and I'll have a little backup. Unfortunately, I don't have 220 in front of the shop. I could have Steve plasma cutting stuff out there while I'm doing this out here. I do have a torch though, so we'll see. Got this thing right in my way.
Well, it's gotta go. It was on top of here. Did you get it?
I think there's a nugget of copper.
There it is.
I don't know what the deal with this one is. I think they said the control panel went bad or something.
Yeah, I'll pop them 4 mounting pads and it'll come right out. Then you can snatch it out of there.
Okay, I'm gonna go set this machine up. I was thinking I need like a heavy plate of steel that at the end has like just a slight, like a hook or something welded like that, you know, up and over. that I can drive the forklift on, drive stuff like that on, and use it to just rip stuff apart. I think that would be quite awesome. Okay, I'm gonna swap this around, see how this is gonna work. I don't know if I'm gonna hook it, if I'm gonna be able to hook the trigger into my thing. Oh, we got it lubed up. Maintain torch before every use. Okay. Oh, it's got so many parts. Okay. I wonder if they actually inspect these things. Like, it says it's going to avoid the warranty. I've never had an issue. Well, one time I had an issue returning things, only because I return hundreds of them. But Harbor Freight usually just take your shit right back. Especially if you got a 2-year warranty or 1 year. I bought a 1-year warranty with this for $270 something. So I'm going to use the crap out of this thing, and whether it's working or not, we'll get a new one at the end of the year. All right, so my first impressions with the new, I don't know what the name of this thing is, titanium plasma cutter. Let me shut this off real quick. These fans are doing a really good job of sucking the fumes right out of the building. All right, I'm gonna sit down and give you a little talk. I had to upgrade to my Mickey Mouse gloves that Adam W sent me, because the little thin rubber ones are really nice for most things, but this stuff is hot. Wow, I can't believe that thing is still draining. First thing, plasma cutters in general do not like whatsoever cutting through steel when there's another piece of steel right behind it. As you can see here, this, for whatever reason, was an odd, like this was more up in the compressor than most of them. I had to really cut high on this one, and it was blowing the slag right back out. And then that last one I did, also, it really don't like that rust. So it seems like just like a torch, the rust was causing some issues. It actually, you know, was getting that really dirty. First impressions, I like the standoff. It keeps the tip away from here and a little cleaner. It is kind of the other one never had that, so I was able to kind of get in tight places with it. That is you know, something I got to get used to, but I like it. I can see how it's a better deal. This plasma cutter isn't like the other one where you need to like strike it and get the arc going. This one just blasts the arc right into the machine, into whatever you're cutting, and will start to cut, which is pretty cool. Now, One of them, I had to turn it up a little bit to 50 amps. So I just turned it back down. So I'm going to see how it works with this. This is a nice cleaner cut. I'm going to see. Some of these nuts on that other one seemed like it was, that's probably steel. There was a big, some of them had big brass nuts on it. I forgot to take it off. It's probably down in there somewhere. I'm gonna send all this here with the prepared steel. So, wow, you can see that one was seasoned up in there. That's probably the one that was all black and got black crap everywhere. Thoughts. Definitely have to have a better system of getting it out of the tote onto a drainage setup and up to this. So I need to build a table that is like, you know, right here where I can pop a hole in a bunch of them. The drill, I don't know if the drill is going to be the way to go. It just seems too time consuming. I'm thinking I'm just going to pop the holes in them with the plasma cutter. Getting them off of here, ultimately what I'd like to do is just, you know, have someone on here cutting and cutting and cutting. Now this machine here, it just kicked the fan on. The paperwork said, let me show you, it's got a 40% duty cycle or something. We're gonna need something with like a lot of duty cycle, because we need to be able to run this thing non-stop like all day long and not worry about stuff blowing up. Oh, look, we got a, oh, this is what I need to hot wire it right here. Oh, and then I found out this extra thing here is for a plasma cut-in table. Like if you were gonna put this on like a CNC, but it's funny. Let me see if I can show you troubleshooting. Dirty or coated metal. That's the problem. And then we might be running too high. I don't have a regulator. I think we're up at 120 psi. I got to get a regulator. Something I briefly saw in here, I thought it was interesting. Yeah, here we go. 14 pin CPC port. So it says the 14 pin CPC port will accept an interface cable for connecting to automated CNC table not provided. Refer to the CNC table's manufacturer's instructions. The user will be required to manufacture their own 14 pin CPC port cable assembly. So you're gonna have to basically you got to make your own thing. Now I'm gonna go back to where it's talked about the duty cycle. Here we go. Here we go, duty cycle. Duty cycle is the equipment specification which defines the number of minutes within a 10-minute period a piece of equipment can be safely operated. When using a 120 volts, 20 amp circuit, this plasma cutter has a 40% duty cycle at 22 amps, which means that it may be used only 4 minutes at 22 amps out of 10 minutes and must be rested to remain in 6. When using 240 50 amp circuit, this plasma cutter has a 40% duty cycle at 65 amps, which means it may be used only 4 minutes at 65 amps at a 10-minute period and must be rested to remain in 6 minutes. When using a 240 volt 50 amp circuit, this plasma cutter has 100 duty. Wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. It's confusing. When using 240 50 amp circuit, when using 240 50 amp circuit, this plasma cutter has 100% duty cycle at 42 amps. Oh, 42 amps, okay. Which means it may be used for the full 10 minutes at 42 amps at any 10-minute period. Okay, that's what we want. Failure to follow the duty cycle limitations of this plasma cutter can easily damage this equipment and will void the warranty. Okay, how are they going to know? Clean, dry, and free from paint, oil, or dirt. So, at 40 amps, we should be able to run this thing for 10 minutes straight, no problem. Now, I'm not running it 10 minutes straight. I'm running it maybe a minute or two. And I really need to... the problem with this thing is it's kind of jerky. It's hard to dial in a consistent speed. So once I get on the black ones, where they're all pretty much the same thickness, I can know I need something with a dial where I know, like a you know, 1 2 3 4 5 or whatever, or 1 to 100 really is what I need, so I can really fine tune it. And then, like, okay, the black ones are going to be a set in 10, you know, and then these ones are thicker, so that might be like a set in 7 or whatever it's going to be. But I need to have like a reference chart, or just know, hey man, slow it down, speed it up. The thing's cooling itself down and it ain't even working. But my first impressions, it cuts a lot nicer than the other one. Now, I need to get an air dryer ASAP and a regulator, because I have no dryer. And oh, I took the splitter that I had on my big air compressor and I attached it to this one. So now I actually hooked Steve up with the other plasma cutter out front, and he had to run out for a minute. He'll be back, but he's going to plasma cut all the big stators and get them prepped on the 110 mode at like 20 amps, because that's plenty to blow through the little thin steel. And then he'll come over, and him or me, or however it works out, I'm just going to keep cutting these things until I get through that bin. I'm trying to get through that bin quick, but they're heavy in there. I might just tip the bin over with the forklift, because otherwise I'm like picking them out with a chain and putting them over there. And ultimately what I'm going to need is a big table like that. I'm going to be doing a lot of these, where I can just pick the Gaylord up or pick the bin up and kind of dump it on the table. I'm going to have to get my other forklift going ASAP, because my rotator is over there. I can just pick these bins up and rotate them sideways on the table and kind of finesse the stuff out of it. We're getting we're expanding over here to the point where we're going to need a bigger machine, because just picking this up, when I first picked it up off of that trailer, it was sketchy, because that little machine out there only has a 2,800 pound or 2,700 pound rating, which is okay. So we need a bigger forklift, and I need a bigger scale, because I put this on the scale and it maxed it right out. So we got some weight, man. And this is a good customer. He said that's about 3 months worth of stuff. So, and he's got more. That wasn't even all of it. They got more to process. If I'm gonna start getting more customers and be getting more stuff like this, we need to up our game. And this shop is, we're gonna have to reevaluate everything in here, because it's getting tight, you know? Anyway, I'm gonna get something to drink. We'll cut this one live. I like these red ones, man. So far, they're full of cast aluminum instead of big steel chunks. They're metal with big chunks of copper on the stator. So I'm excited about that. Hopefully Steve gets back here soon. He can start blowing through that stuff out there. I might just have him come in and start blowing through this stuff over here. And then I'll start setting that stator wrecker up and start splitting these things. We need to get some big nuggets in the bucket. I haven't even weighed that other stuff. So leave a comment, because I don't know if I'm going to weigh it in this video. I think what I'm going to do is cut all this stuff, probably split everything, and then that might be it for this video. You know, dinner time comes and then it's nap time. I'll tell you where we're going, right to the scrap yard. Dancing. You ever seen your copper dance before?